Hey guys, what's up? Good morning. I'm Yalik, and I'm gonna make this quick because everybody in the world has already put out a video about this new gunboat ability, the Tiny Shock, which I think last time we saw it, which would have been the Mega Turtle, was called, I think, Extended Shock or something because it shocks a building, just one building, for 30 seconds. And it is ridiculous. It's way overpowered, as you would expect, and it is so much fun. So this is useful for virtually any combination you're running. I just did an attack on my max level base against a guy with ice. He had, I'll show you really quickly, his HQ, I want to say his HQ was about over here in this area, like say where one of these two buildings would be, and he had put a shock launcher way over in this corner. So with the HQ over there and the shock launcher over there, I could go left and completely ignore that building. So all I had to do is, as per usual, I barred down two of the range towers. I took out two rocket launchers, and the third rocket launcher was up close to the front of the beach. Very easy to shock as with a regular shock, and then handle with troops. And then the last rocket launcher, or the last shock launcher, was back up in this corner, and I just put an extended shock on it and removed it for the amount of time. By the time that shock was about to run out at 30 seconds, I was already back there, ready to take it out anyway. And these things are so dirt cheap that I was then able to throw other remote shocks onto the pair of blasters that I think he had going. Just silly, and just the easiest thing in the world to do. I just watched a video or a replay somebody did with warriors taking down an ice shield base using the extended shock. He used his regular shocks around the core, but there were two shock launchers up in this area, and he just put the extended shock on them nice and early, because with warriors you've got all that time when you're sitting there under smoke. Usually there's a good bit of time where you're just kind of waiting around for things to happen. So he used that time. With a 30-second duration on this thing, you don't have to worry about being very precise. So he used all that extra time to throw extended shocks onto the two shock launchers. So for a grand cost of 9 GBE, the initial one costs 3, and the cost goes up by 3 each time. So 3 and 6, 9 total. Just remove those from the equation entirely. And then threw his 3 regular shocks and just sat there and ripped through somebody's shield. And then the HQ, and took it down. Just bonkers. If you were running tanks, you would be using this to completely remove things like boom cannons from the equation, and doom cannons, and so on, grapplers, and go to town. Just nuts. So I'm going to show a couple of, why am I doing that? That's not necessary at all. So I'm going to show a couple of mid-level hits from last night with Heavy Zuka, because that's primarily what I use at that mid-level. And what I have found this ability useful for, in particular, is setting up a parking spot. So I'm going to show you 2 hits where I do that. In this base, I want to park about over in here, and then that means I'm going to want to do a shock and a shock over here, get some critters out, and then the only real problem in this entire base becomes this one mortar, because it's going to be sitting in the middle of my Zukas. So what we do is, as we're walking up, as we're getting into position, that's where, on a heavy Zuka hit, that's where you have a bunch of time. So as we're getting into position, throw the extended shock on the mortar, and now that's out of the picture. And you can proceed with your hit as, well, you know, as if it weren't there. Just, I don't know how long they're going to let this be around for. Hopefully, probably not to the, well, maybe to the weekend. A couple of days, I don't know. Anyway, it's nuts. It's bonkers. Okay, just getting up into position now. Get our smokes out. And then right about here, you're going to see, there it is. Now that's gone. That's been shocked, and it's shocked for 30 seconds. And we pull our troops forward. There's the critters. There's the shocks. And boom. Just a very handy way for, for 3 GBE in that case to deal with a building that would otherwise be a nuisance. And here you'll see the same thing again. Long conversation. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. Same thing. So this is a bad base design. Look what this guy's done with his rockets. And why are his mortars over there? Please tell me. What are they doing over there? I have no idea what this guy thinks he is doing, but he's definitely not doing it. Ice too, correct? No? Yeah, ice. So he actually cares about defense, presumably with the ice out, but then he's got this. So, I mean, this is ridiculous one way or another. But obviously with Heavy Zooka, I'm going to want to sit over here in the corner because there's going to be nothing to shoot at me from behind. And the only things to worry about, only one thing to worry about from the sides, which is this blaster. And a blaster is not a big deal for Heavy Zooka. It's not going to work quickly enough on the Zookas with no shield in play. So the only real problem is I'm going to be sitting with this shock launcher there. Now I could deal with that with bullet and flare out from the corner and then taunt, and he should taunt while in the blind spot of the shock launcher, but then again I also lose the extra damage that you get from Sergeant Brick, and we want that because we just want to sort of bash this down and be on our merry way. So again, same thing. I hate blasters on the beach, by the way. That's the one good thing that this guy's got going for him. Blasters on the beach are super annoying. You'll notice that I had tried to flag my heavies up here to get this mine, and instead they took a turn and left it for the Zookas, but the Zooka Health Tribe saved my butt on this one. I mean, could have fixed it a second time around, didn't end up having to, but yeah, that was mildly annoying. So there was the tiny shock, and the shock launcher is now gone from the picture permanently for the rest of this attack. Not permanently, but as long as this attack will need to continue. Did those even range back there? I don't even know. A little bit. And then at the end of the attack, just because I threw a tiny shock over onto the blaster. But just very super easy way to take care of bases. Yes, something from eBay. And I didn't buy anything, so that's probably just an annoying ad. Yeah, have fun with it. I don't know how long it'll remain with us, but it is way ridiculously, insanely overpowered tiny shock. That's it. That's all I got. Go make stuff, go boom. I'm Yalek. Have a great day.